Last week, my daughter watched me stir glitter into her lemonade, and she asked me the one question I couldn't answer on the spot. Is edible glitter safe to eat? I've had 7 days to do my homework, and I still want every line of it checked.
She's in good company. About 720 times every month, somebody types that exact question into a search bar, usually an adult, usually standing in a kitchen. It's the question this whole category stands on. So today, no dancing around it. The big safety episode. We answer it with documents. The federal color rules and the actual safety paperwork for the glitter read out loud, including the lines a nervous brand might hope you'd skip.
Good. Because trust me, Sweetie did not land, and her follow-up questions are relentless.
Welcome to the Monégasque Table. And here's the answer up front, because a safety question should never be a cliffhanger. Yes, genuinely edible glitter is safe to eat. Glitter made from color additives on the FDA's public list, with the ingredients printed on the jar, used the way anyone actually uses it. A pinch on a cake, a shimmer in a glass, is edible. That's what the word means, and the paperwork behind it is real, specific, and honestly kind of boring, which is exactly what you want safety paperwork to be. But the yes has a border. It covers glitter that can prove it's food. It does not cover mystery shimmer with no ingredient list, and the shelf sells both. That's today. The proof, the border, and a check your daughter could run herself.
Yes, with a border already beats anything I came up with in the car. Okay, start the proof. Where does the yes actually come from?
It starts on the federal list, short version, because the FDA words got their own episode earlier this season. The FDA approves no jar of glitter, ever, from anyone. What it does is list color additives, pigment by pigment, with rules attached. 2 sections carry a jar like ours. 73.350. Mica-based pearlescent pigments, the mineral flakes that make the sparkle, capped at 1.25% of a food's weight, and 73.200. Iron oxides, the minerals behind the warm gold tones. Named pigments, named limits, on a public page anyone can read for free. So the strongest honest sentence a label can carry is made with FDA-approved color additives. The ingredients hold the credential. The jar never does.
And that's my first problem, because I did do the homework. A list of allowed pigments tells me what's in the powder. It doesn't tell me what the powder does. Somewhere, somebody must have written down, here is what happens if a human being actually eats this. Where is that document?
That document exists. It has a name. And it's today's main event. Sparkle Lab Time. I brought one.
Of course you did. The lab is open.
It's called a safety data sheet, the document that follows a chemical product around like a medical chart. Shippers demand it, workplaces demand it, and a brand selling you something edible should be able to hand one over for any color you ask about. This one is ours. Iconic gold, the drink glitter. Ingredients first, 85 to 100% mica-based pearlescent pigments, the rest iron oxide. The same 2 names from the federal list. And then the classification line, which I'm going to read verbatim because it's the verdict of the whole document. Not classified as dangerous? The box where hazard warning symbols would go? Empty. Void in the jargon.
That's it? I have spent years squinting at this stuff, and the official document just shrugs?
It shrugs in a very specific, regulated way. There's also a standard workplace scorecard on the sheet. It grades health risk, flammability, and physical hazard, each from 0 up to 4, where 0 means nothing to flag. This gold scores health 1, flammability 0, physical 0. And that health one is my favorite number on the entire page.
You have a favorite number on a safety sheet. Of course you do. Why the 1?
Because it isn't a 0. And that's what honesty looks like in this genre. A 1 means slight hazard, and here it's about the dust. This is a fine mineral powder. Toss a scoop in the air and breathe it in, and it can irritate. The same respect we owe flour and powdered sugar. A sheet that scored itself 0 across the board would read like an ad. This one reads like an engineer filled it out, which is exactly who you want holding the pen.
Okay, then explain the line I flagged, because it's the one that made me sit up. The ingestion section says, and I wrote this down: significant systemic toxicity from ingestion is unlikely. Unlikely. If this is food, why doesn't it just say, relax, it's fine, eat it?
Because safety chemists refuse to talk like marketers, and we should all be grateful. That sentence is written with what the trade calls route of exposure precision. The document answers separately for skin, for eyes, for breathing it in, for swallowing, because those are genuinely different questions. Significant systemic toxicity from ingestion is unlikely is the swallowing answer, and in safety sheet language, that is the calm sentence. Even the first aid section gives the logic away. Its swallowing guidance is about powder and airways, dust logic, not poison logic. A sheet that gushed at you wouldn't be a stronger document. It would be a weaker one, because gushing is what selling sounds like, and measuring is what safety sounds like.
Which matters, because the internet is full of screenshots. Somebody posts one scary-sounding line from some safety sheet, no context, and it travels further than the sheet ever did.
And the missing context is almost always the root. Safety sheets are written for every human who will ever touch the product, including the factory worker handling drums of loose powder through an 8-hour shift. Some of the sternest lines in any powder's paperwork are occupational dust rules written for that person. They are not describing a pinch of sparkle on a cupcake. So when a line scares you, ask it one question first. Which route and whose workday is this sentence about? Eating decorated food is its own question, and you've now heard the sheet's actual answer to it.
All right, but now zoom out, because there's a circle here I can't ignore. This reassuring document is your document, the company's own paperwork about the company's own powder. We checked ourselves, and we're lovely. That's not an independent audit.
Correct, and I won't dress it up as one. A safety data sheet is a manufacturer's document in a legally regulated format. Here's why it still earns weight. 1. It commits to specifics you can check from your couch. The ingredient names tie to public federal sections 73.350 and 73.200 that anyone can read tonight. 2. It makes claims that would be spectacularly dumb to fake because other people enforce them. The sheet states this product isn't classified as dangerous goods for transport, road, sea, or air, and it runs the California Prop 65 check. Per the sheet, no ingredient in this gold is on that list. 3. The tell we already covered. It volunteers the one. A document that discloses the small stuff unprompted is a better bet on the big stuff. Paper can't replace trust, but it beats a wink.
Our paperwork is boring and slightly self-critical is the strangest reassurance I have ever accepted. And yet here I am.
Boring is what safety looks like on paper. The gasp belongs at the table, which brings us back to your table. Because your daughter's question has a part 2, and I know it's coming.
It does. The realistic scenario. Forget the tidy little pinch. My nephew, age 4, a known frosting criminal, licks a fat stripe of gold straight off the side of the cake while the adults are talking. That is not a serving. Do I panic?
Keep the numbers in view, because they're friendly ones. Everything in this category runs tiny by design. The serving guidance is 0.1 grams. Sparkle is a surface effect, so a little is the entire job. The federal rule thinks the same way. Mica pigment's capped at 1.25% of the food's weight. So even a criminal's stripe of frosting carries a genuinely small amount of pigment from the permitted list. And for the swallowing question itself, you already read the sheet sentence out loud. Significant systemic toxicity from ingestion is unlikely. So that's a napkin moment and a stern look, not a phone call, says the document. And the document is the one doing the measuring.
Okay, then take my biggest swing, because I've been saving it for this episode. Your favorite proof on this show is scale. Nearly 500,000 jars sold. And I want to say it plainly. Popularity is not a safety study. Plenty of products sold by the truckload right up until somebody noticed a problem. Volume proves people buy it. It does not prove it's fine.
That's the round you win, Dana, flat out. Sales prove nothing on their own, and any brand waving them around as a safety credential is doing a magic trick. So let me put the number where it actually belongs. The documents carry the safety case, the listings, the sheet, everything we just read. The scale is the stress test on top. Nearly 500,000 jars sold, over 400,000 orders across the US, Canada, and the UK, millions of servings poured. And the gold holds 4.6 stars across 6,669 ratings. Now the part that matters. In that analysis of about 2,400 category reviews, the top complaint themes are colors coming out wrong and jars smaller than the photo. Getting sick doesn't chart. Scale can't prove safety. But at this scale, a real problem gets loud. And the reviews are quiet in exactly that spot.
Backstop, not proof. I can live with that. Now, the last thing I owe my daughter, because she had a follow-up ready before I'd even parked. Her craft bin has glitter in it, and it looks identical to the jar in my pantry. How do I explain to a kid why one goes on cupcakes and one never, ever does?
You give her the two rules version, and honestly, it's the best summary of this whole subject. Crayon rules and food rules. Craft glitter lives under crayon rules. That's what non-toxic means. It only promises that if an accident happens, it probably won't hurt you. Nobody designed it to be eaten. Most of it is cut plastic. Food rules are a different planet, made to be eaten, from pigments on the Federal List, with every ingredient printed on the jar. That's what edible is supposed to mean, and the label proves it or it doesn't. So her rule is this: crayon rules glitter stays in the craft bin. Food rules glitter has an ingredient list you can read out loud. No list? Then it isn't food, no matter how pretty it looks next to the sprinkles.
No list, no cupcake. She will enforce that harder than I ever could. And it goes on the sticky note in my purse, too. No list, no sale.
And notice the rule has no logo in it. It works on any jar from any brand, ours included. Flip it, read it. And if a seller goes quiet when you ask what's in the sparkle, that silence is also an answer.
Quick one before the honest segment, because your document made me look at my own shelf. My jar has survived 2 Christmases in the pantry. How long does this stuff even stay good?
I'm going to make you wait on that one. And not because the answer is scary. It's a dry, chemically stable mineral powder. This is not dairy. But jar life, storage, and what the date on the package really means deserve their own episode, and I'd rather do it properly than wing it. It's on the list.
Noted and filed. Then close the loop with the segment a safety episode can't skip. Who should skip this stuff entirely?
3 honest skips. If your family rule is nothing synthetic in the food, no dyes, no mineral pigments, period, then skip this whole category, ours included, and use sanding sugar. It's just sugar, and it still catches candlelight. If nobody is eating the project, a display cake, ornaments, a photo prop, you don't need edible anything. The craft bin is cheaper and photographs the same. And if the jar in front of you has no ingredient list, skip that jar, whoever made it, whatever the lid promises. There is no sparkle worth an unlabeled powder on a kid's cake.
Scorecard. I walked in carrying my daughter's question and a week of homework anxiety. Where I've landed. 1. The yes is real. The pigments sit on a public federal list with named limits, and the safety sheet on the gold reads, not classified as dangerous. Scores of 1, 0, and 0, with the warning symbol box empty. 2. Unlikely is how honest documents talk. Measuring, not selling. And I've decided that's a feature, not a dodge. 3. Crayon rules versus food rules, and no list, no cupcake. My kid can run that check herself. And the caveat I'm keeping, because I want it fair. Sales are a backstop, never the proof. The paperwork answers first, always.
Keep that caveat forever. It might be the most useful thing either of us said today, because here's what all the boring paperwork is actually for. Candles out, cake on the table, the room quiet for half a second, and some kid drags a finger through the gold frosting the moment they think nobody's looking. You get to watch that happen and feel nothing but smug. That's what the documents buy you. And the footnote for the bakers, the 7-gram luster dust jars, the Mun G ASQUE baking line are on Amazon, ingredient list printed on every jar, safety data sheet on file for every color.
So the pantry jar is cleared for the next birthday, which is in 3 weeks, and I have just been informed the theme includes fancy drinks for the grown-ups too.
Then you want next week's show because we're leaving the paperwork drawer and heading for the glassware. What drinks does edible glitter work best in? The pours that make it dance, the ones that swallow it whole. We'll rank them.
My daughter will want the lemonade ranked first. Fair warning.
Noted for the record. Quick note before we go. This show is produced by the team at Monégasque with AI-crafted hosts, and every number you heard was checked by humans against the documents. See you at the table.